Okay, massive blow to one of your AFC favorites today. The Baltimore Ravens have lost wide receiver number one, Rashod Bateman, for the rest of the year, electing to undergo foot surgery. This is a huge blow for a passing game that really isn't that electric. It struggles to move the ball sometimes, and this is by far now the worst wide receiver core in the NFL. Lamar Jackson is really going to have to carry the load for the Ravens down the stretch here if this team wants to make a deep run into the postseason. Just a massive loss for them. I'm going to break down everything going on with this story, give you my 2 cents on the whole situation. But if you could first, drop a quick like on this video, subscribe to the channel if you're not already. Really helps the channel out a lot. Let's get into it. Okay, so Rashod Bateman, number one wide receiver for the Baltimore Ravens, has already missed a couple games this year, but now will be done for the rest of the season, electing to undergo foot surgery. This is just a massive blow for a team that kind of struggles to pass the ball sometimes, especially to their wide receivers. Mark Andrews is the heavy hitter in this offense, but man, Bateman has been a really nice addition to them on the outside, but now it's looking like they got a bunch of bozos out there. I mean, Devin Duvernay, Demarcus Robinson, and Deshaun Jackson's 100-year-old ass now. This is not looking good at all for Baltimore. Lamar is really going to have to carry the load. But if you ask Lamar, he'll say, yup, I want to carry the load so I can get that guaranteed contract. It's just a huge loss. Let's just look at the numbers. I mean, Mark Andrews clearly leading the team in receiving, and Devin Duvernay is a little bit ahead of Bateman, but he's played 2 more games than Bateman. Bateman's only had 15 receptions on 28 targets, 19 a carry, 48 a game. That's a big ad for a passing offense that doesn't throw the ball too much, especially downfield. He's been a really nice ad. Lamar is now on his own, it feels like. Mark Andrews is pretty banged up. We've already lost J.K. Dobbins for a good chunk of time. Gus Edwards, the backup running back, is banged up. Man, it seems like the Ravens are always super beat up. I don't know what's going on with the training staff or whatever. Maybe it's just how they play football, but it seems like they're always beat up and they can never quite make it to the end of the season. This is not good for the Ravens. I don't know what they're going to do from a passing standpoint, especially if Andrews is banged up. I don't think Lamar in this passing game can be competent enough where you're going to be able to run the football and dominate teams. I think this Ravens team could be in for a little bit of struggle up ahead. Now, there is a nice little break for them. The schedule isn't too bad. They're at New Orleans on Monday night. Should be a fun game. But then you can get into the bye, hopefully get any sort of bodies you have healed up. And then it's a pretty nice schedule. The Panthers are scrappy, but they're limited. Jags, Denver, Pittsburgh, not great. Cleveland's a little concerning with Deshaun Watson back. They aren't selling the farm yet. They kept on to everybody at the trade deadline, so Cleveland could be competitive. Atlanta's feisty, Pittsburgh not great, and at Cincinnati to end the season. So still not the easiest schedule in the world, but not nearly the hardest schedule. I think they'll be able to survive this, but this really hampers their chances against Kansas City and Baltimore in the postseason. This is a team that's starting to get better. It's starting to figure out how to hang on to leads. I mean, if they didn't blow 2 17-point leads, this would be like a one-loss team. This team would be fantastic right now. But now they're 5-3. They're in decent control of getting into the playoffs. The AFC's kind of all muddled up. They are in first place right now. The division has not been good, so they do have that going for them. But I am concerned now about Lamar and having to run the ball, carry a not very good passing offense. They've been stagnant in some games when the passing game has been taken away, let alone Mark Andrews banged up, and they're going to have to run the ball, and you can't really come back on teams when you have to run the ball. We've seen this year in and year out from this team in the postseason. Now, I'm a believer in Lamar. I think Lamar is a hell of a playmaker, and if anybody can figure this thing out, Lamar can. But man, it really puts them behind the 8 ball. They don't hang on to leads great. I mean, the defense tends to give up a lot of points, especially down the stretch. They have been better the last few weeks, but when you start playing great teams in the playoffs that can throw the football and you really can't, it really makes things difficult for you. So this is a massive blow to the Ravens. I really aren't sure how they're going to be able to survive a Kansas City or Buffalo, which is a shame because I really would like to see them, against one of those teams being at top form, being able to compete with them. But man, it feels like another lost season for the Ravens, and they're going to have a massive decision ahead of them in the offseason. How much do you pay Lamar? I'm not paying Lamar a Deshaun Watson contract. Fully guaranteed. He has just not shown he's that guy. Now, I could be totally wrong here. There's a full schedule ahead. Maybe Lamar goes on a run, carries this team to the AFC title, maybe gets them into the Super Bowl. then I'd start thinking about it. If he could do that with this cast of characters he's got around him, that would be really impressive. But I just don't see that coming. I could see this team getting bounced in the first round now with the guys they have, especially if they get a tough team like, I don't know who's even in the AFC playoff hunt, but like a Miami, you get a Dolphins team. Dolphins have already beat them when they were at pretty full strength. They blew the 17-point lead against them. Do you really want to play anybody else? I mean, I guess they want to get the Jets. Do you want to play Cincinnati? I get they're a division opponent, but the Bengals offense at any point could put up 40. You know, it's just a massive explosive offense. So I think they're really, really in trouble in Baltimore right now. This is a huge loss for them. Bateman's been their number one guy. They drafted him to be the number one guy. They traded away Hollywood Brown. And now 2 seasons that Bateman's been pretty banged up, not playing a lot of games, really hurting them. Ravens are in a bad situation, I think, in the offseason. What do you do with Lamar? If he gets bounced in the first round, he's going to want a crazy contract, and I just can't justify paying him that. So they could be out of luck looking for a new quarterback here soon in the future. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Are the Ravens toast? Can Lamar weather the storm and get this team to possibly an AFC title game? Let me know. Drop a quick like, subscribe to the channel if you're not already, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.